I had very briefly read Leary's Tibetan Book of the Dead.
Did Leary have a translation of it, or?
No, it was one that he and Albert did together.
Okay.
Not Albert, Ram Dass. Wrote that while he was at Harvard as a guide for all these people that he was turning on.
It was like it gave people an idea of the topography of
Right.
what they would be experiencing.
Yeah. So I had read that book, and I had looked at some paintings of the chakras and how they work and all. So I had kind of a picture of it in my mind, but it wasn't really clear. But at the same time, when I took the LSD, I wasn't even thinking of that at the point. But I had done that little moment of like
Little homework.
Yeah, just homework. It wasn't research, it was just homework. But then anyway, I just started coming on to this very, very simple patterns that were just kind of moving, you know, at a very smooth, calm level. And then that went into those patterns became more intensified and more intricate and more colorful and more energy. And that went on for a long period of time and was super peaceful. Just this beautiful, like cosmic math or something was taking place. And then I started going into this kind of historical space of my family and started to become aware on my mother's side of the male thing through history where I wasn't being violent, but my approach to the female thing was very male-dominated. And it had been for years.
Yeah, for generations.
Generations.
Previous.
And one of the things that I became aware of was that this male generation through all this time liked to drink alcohol. And somehow in my mind, without my regular thinking being aware of it, became judgmental about that. And then I went on to all this space became, by then I was standing up at my front door and it was a beautiful day and I had this really, really wonderful little yard and garden. I was just standing there at the doorway and I had this incredible feeling of peace and calmness. But I wasn't in this body at that time. I was part of my generation, and I was actually not in the same kind of clothes I wear. But I was having this just incredibly peaceful feeling, and then all of a sudden. It just came up through me and right out through the top of my head. My mind was blown. And I just went into this clear, what they call white light, but it's not really white. It's luminescence. It's an energy of brightness that you can't really define by color. It's luminosity.
Okay.
And there's not a word for it, really.
Probably the literature, ancient literature, gives it terms to point to it.
I think so, absolutely. But anyway, that went on for quite a long time, and then I just came down, and it was just like normal. Except for I realized that this just crazy wisdom thing had just taken place, and my first instinct was I'm going to stop drinking alcohol. Because I don't want to carry that male aspect of my history with me anymore. I want to be free of that. And I stopped drinking.